It's official, guys. It's official. Officially, Caitlin Clark will miss the rest of the season. Additionally, Caitlin Clark will miss the remainder of the WNBA season due to an injury. I had wanted to offer a better news, she adds, but I will not be playing again this season. The word disappointed doesn't adequately express how I feel. Caitlin Clark is officially finished for the season, formally concluded for the season. This is not the best situation. This is not in line with the Indiana Fever organization's stand-stop breaking news. It was stated by Caitlin Clark herself. All right, outside the mouth of the horse, it was 2 minutes ago. The basketball community was just surprised by Caitlin Clark. The dream of a return is over. Fans around the world are devastated that she has been formally ruled out for the remainder of the season. Consider Caitlin to be sad for the year's outcome. I think it will only make you more resilient in the future. It's official, guys. It's official. Officially, Caitlin Clark will miss the rest of the season. I want to offer a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season, Caitlin Clark herself declared. I spent hours in the gym every day with the single objective of getting back out there. I want to thank everyone who supported me through all the uncertainty. I hope to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season, Caitlin Clark said. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I'm feeling. I spent hours. Hey, we saw it. The only reason I spent hours in the gym each day was to get back out there. The word disappointed doesn't really capture how I feel. I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who supported me during all of the uncertainties. Caitlin Clark, the 2024 #1 choice. Played just 13 games this season and hadn't made an appearance since July 15th when she had a right groin injury, and it was determined that she would miss the rest of the 2025 season due to injuries. Caitlin Clark, the 2024 #1 pick, stated on social media Thursday that she will not be returning this season after being sidelined for the rest of the 2025 season due to injuries. Clark had only played in 13 games this season and hadn't played since July 15th. She thanked fans for consistently attending, discussed how frustrating it was to spend hours in the gym every day with the sole goal of playing again, and expressed her pride in her team's ability to persevere in the face of hardship. I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this time. She says, season. The only reason I spent hours in the gym each day was to get back out there. The word disappointed doesn't really capture how I feel. Would like to express my gratitude to everyone who supported me during all of the uncertainties. This has been really annoying. However, there is good even in the bad. This statement made everyone realize how drastically Caitlin Clark's absence alters the league's overall outlook. It was verified during a live reaction that she was officially done for the season. Caitlin Clark is officially over for the season. This is not ideal. This is not ideal at all. I don't think anyone wants to deal with this. As far as the Indiana Fever organization is concerned, this is not good news. Fans and the league were informed that Caitlin Clark was officially done for the season. This is not ideal, and nobody wants to deal with it. Gino's injury has caused the Indiana Fever to lose their star player at a critical moment, which is not something that the organization wants to happen because Caitlin Clark's season-long absence truly disrupts the league. What about her rookie season, in which she established the all-time rookie points and assist record for a season that won't be surpassed by Gino's player, whom we don't actually think is superior to Caitlin Clark? She can't handle the professional league, right? Entirely honest? Let's be completely honest. Caitlin Clark revealed in her own words that she will not be returning this season, which was a shocking announcement that has significant ramifications for both the WNBA and the Fever.Ms. Caitlin Clark herself broke the news. All right, so this is bad since it seems like there are a lot of ramifications for this article. First of all, this is extremely very bad news for not only Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, but also for the league as a whole. I don't want to save for the league as a whole. In her statement, Clark acknowledged, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season." She expressed her disappointment and heartbreak, saying that she had tried everything to return, but that her comeback would have to wait. "I spent hours in the gym every day with the sole purpose of getting back out there, but I will not be returning to play this season, nor if the Indiana Fever make the playoffs," Caitlin Clark said in a statement. "I had wanted to provide a better report. The word disappointed doesn't adequately express how I feel, and I want to express my gratitude to everyone who supported me during all of the uncertainties." Caitlin Clark and the Fever confirmed on social media that she was officially done for the 2025 WNBA season, with Clark stating that she attempted to return on the floor. "It seems that she simply ran out of time and was unable to regain enough trust in her body." Caitlin Clark and the Fever made the announcement on social media that she was definitely done for the 2025 WNBA season, stating that she attempted to return to the floor. "It's a stomach hit." Caitlin Clark is officially out for the rest of the season since it seems like she simply ran out of time and was unable to regain enough confidence in her body as the season comes to an end and Indiana's playoffs are probably about to start. "I will not be playing again this season, but I hope to share a better update," Clark stated. "The only reason I spent hours in the gym each day was to get back out there. The word disappointed doesn't really capture how I feel." Out of the press, Caitlin Clark came to Twitter to announce that she will not be playing this season. See what Caitlin Clark had to say about her injury and her recovery efforts? "This is absurd. I will not be playing again this season, but I hope to share a better update." Caitlin Clark stated, "CAITLYN. Clark recently announced that she will not be playing this season. I hope to offer a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season," Caitlin Clark said. "I worked out for hours every day with the sole purpose of going back out there." Caitlin Clark recently announced that she will not be playing this season. Where do we proceed from here then? And Caitlin Clark. Once more, I believe we may presume that Caitlin Clark is finished. If we don't see any video of her practicing today, is the final practice day they will have before the regular season ends. Nothing can be guaranteed at the end of the day. Since today is the last day of practice, I believe we can infer that Caitlin Clark is finished if we do not see any film of her practicing today. To possess prior to the conclusion of the regular season. Tonight, they are playing a game. On Sunday, they have a game. So, tomorrow is their game. On Sunday, they have a game. On Tuesday, they have a game. Caitlin Clark's reaction to the Connecticut Sun game was seen. Given her reaction, a lot of people predicted that she wouldn't return this year. Given her reaction, a lot of people predicted that she would be injured for at least 2 months. Caitlin Clark's response to the Connecticut Sun. Given her reaction, a lot of people predicted that she wouldn't return this year. Given her reaction, a lot of people predicted that she would be injured for at least 2 months. The Indiana fever was a daily occurrence. Regarding the Indiana, there are medical experts on YouTube if you're worried about fever. According to medical experts who wrote papers based on their observations, yeah, that looks like a pretty severe injury. It's official. The remainder of the season will be missed by Caitlin Clark. A heartbreaking update for supporters of the Indiana Fever. Finally, after weeks of conjecture, it is clear that Clark's return will have to wait. Stephanie White has confirmed that Caitlin Clark will not be making a comeback this year. Here, you have to read between the lines. Go beyond the obvious. This season, we've been duped and misled enough. We don't have to put up with these folks lying to us any longer. Caitlin worked hard to get well, but there isn't enough time left in the season for her to make a safe comeback, according to Indiana Fever General Manager Amber Cox. Her long-term health is the team's first goal, and they anticipate that she will return fully in 2026. Caitlin has worked so hard throughout. It's time doing everything possible to recover and return to the court. But ultimately, time is not on our side. The Indiana Fever's coup and general manager stated in an article, Amber Cox emphasized once more how important her long-term health and well-being are. The Fever acknowledged that Clark won't have enough time to play this season, but they anticipate seeing her at her best the following year. During this period, Caitlin has put in a ton of effort, trying everything in her power to recuperate and go back to court, but in the end, time is not on our favor. "Good God," said Amber Cox, General Manager and Chief Operational Officer of the Fever, in a statement. "We would continue to work with Caitlin and provide her all the resources. We have, but there isn't enough time in our season for her to return safely. Commentators pointed out that this difficult choice was the best one for Caitlin Clark in the long run, and that her legacy and career are more important than her health and well-being. We are forward to see her well recovered to begin the 2026. I want to be honest because it's her career, her livelihood, and her legacy. And stepping away now offers her a chance to properly recuperate. This is probably the greatest thing for Keon Clark. If we're thinking long-term and she cares more than the fans do, the way the Fever conveyed Clark's injury upset fans. But she is going to do everything she can, and it's the right thing for her to think about herself. And make sure that she's 100%, and it's gotta suck. For her, this has to have been like the worst of the worst case scenarios. There is an extra team in the Vox. Every home game is sold out. They don't sell out away games. And then there are the Fever. Many people think that if she had been ruled out earlier, fans would have been more optimistic about her future. Rather than angry with the team, what the Fever excel at is that many teams move. Many teams move games for the Fever, or because the Fever are visiting larger venues, or, if you're the Minnesota Lynx, opening the upper of the arena. There was speculation that Clark was the announcement established that her season was officially finished, regardless of whether she was truly prepared to return or if the team had already made up its mind. It's bad for the CBA and players' leverage, because the players have lost all of their leverage. There is no longer any Caitlin Clark in this league, I promise. The players have lost all of their leverage because Caitlin can obtain it. I don't want to say for the league as a whole, but this is very bad news for not just Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, but the league as a whole. Clark's absence has a direct impact on fan excitement and league momentum. So it's a huge blow, not just for Indiana, but for the WNBA overall. Until we enter the playoffs, which are followed by the semifinals and finals for the championship game. Many people are now wondering what specifically went wrong with Caitlin Clark. I think it was her left groin. But when you think of a groin, I'm not going to speculate. It's time to finish the season and secure our postseason berth. Let's be honest. When I first looked up her injury, some responses highlighted how catastrophic this is for the Fever's playoff aspirations. Without Caitlin, the club faces a significant uphill struggle. Earlier today, Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever brass, Kane Clark, and I assume her team, training team, medical staff, and those close to her sat down to talk about Caitlin Clark's future. It is a devastating event that drains a lot of energy from the fans and removes a lot of air from the room. Blow for not just the Fever and the WNBA. The good news is that her career is not over, but it's a difficult blow when everything falls apart like that. And then, it's the expectation that she might return, but that doesn't happen, clearly drains a lot of energy of the fans. And it's a terrible blow for the Fever and the WNBA. But at least we now know. The good news is that her career is still going strong. But it's a terrible blow when everything falls apart like that. I think this has been done for a while, and they've kept us supporters in the dark. And that's terrible. At least we now know that she's done for the season, but I find it really hard to believe that the Indiana Fever are only now realizing it. They dragged this thing on for so long. I put out a video 2 weeks ago saying, man, she's done. And I think this has been resolved. It's been a long time, and I find it hard to believe that the Indiana Fever are only now realizing that. Well, she's done for the year. She's finished. After they extinguish, that is really regrettable that Caitlin Clark will not be returning to the basketball court for the 2025 season. Let's support the Clark family and players. Fans were left waiting when they should have announced this sooner. Let's support the Clark family and players on the basketball floor for the 2025 season. They could have stated this, but I told you that it was us calling them out, so they were compelled to speak up. Caitlin is not in a good situation. Fans are the reason these players are paid, so it's not a good scenario for the Fever. And it's not a good position for the fans, who ultimately believe that sports are an entertainment industry. Assurance of anything. They don't have to be overly forward. It appears like we're only receiving inaccurate information about players, such as that they haven't had any setbacks. And then the organization, the organ, and the next PR campaign from the organization. I don't mind it, but this is the reason for it. It's about Stephanie White and the entire PR situation that the organization went through 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, fans continued to show their support despite being spit in the face while watching the games and reviewing them this season, and still have faith in the organization. I need that kind of optimism. Support of fans who continue to watch games despite being spit in the face, review the season despite being spit in the face, and stick with it. I need to get that kind of positivity because I'm looking at the glass right now and it looks really half empty. You may also tell yourself, I still trust Kelly Cross. I still trust Amber Cox, or I still trust Stephanie White. After a lengthy wait for Caitlin Clark's return, fans were left feeling disappointed and heartbroken, leaving many wondering how this scenario was handled. Her debut, and I have another footage where she's going to the Fever R_ over the fans. I hate to say it, but they're taking advantage of the supporters and giving us the impression that she might perform. I'll play another video for you right now, where she's speaking. Following the announcement, fans expressed both sadness and hope for Clark's return, with many believing she should continue playing competitively in the offseason, whether it's because they're planning to meet today after practice to discuss her availability, and whether she'd be able to return for Tuesday. I'm curious to see what will transpire in the offseason. We got the CBA negotiations in Europe or elsewhere to keep in rhythm before the next WNBA season. And I expect nothing less than total dominance from Caitlin Clark. Think Caitlin is sad about how the year ended? Online supporters praised Clark for her efforts despite the difficult year, telling her that the setback will only make her stronger moving forward. Others assured her that the WNBA still needs her and that fans will wait for her comeback. We all support you and are always proud of you. I think it will only make you stronger in the future. Get well. And I'm excited for the haters to come out because that's what's going to happen. Analysts said this result was upsetting for a basketball player who is passionate about the game. Clark persisted in trying to get back into the game, but the frequent failures prevented him from doing so. For someone who is so committed, that early season finale was heartbreaking. For her, this is everything. It must be heartbreaking to feel tempted or to want to be close, even if it's only close enough. Perhaps you return for the playoffs, but in any case, there will be a group of fans. In the end, I believe we all kind of felt that this was going to be the result. Commentators cautioned that Clark's absence could slow the WNBA's progress, claiming that her presence alone increased ticket sales and viewership. In any case, the 2026 season will not be a lockout, but the CBA negotiations and a possible lockout are in between. The league risks losing leverage in ongoing CBA negotiations. I just wish there was better communication in between, especially with that ankle again. Fans acknowledged that if the Indiana Fever stayed within single digits of any playoff game, it would already be deemed a success. The response also included concern that the team would be swiftly swept in the playoffs without Clark. I do think that will be handled soon. Her absence was characterized as detrimental, not only for the Fever, but also for the WNBA overall. The Golden State Valkyries have a sizable fan base, primarily composed of people who have been priced out of attending Warriors games since they moved from the Oracle to wherever they currently play. This is very, very bad news for not just Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, but the league as a whole, right? Until we get into the details, it affects league excitement, sponsorship interest, and the larger story of women's basketball growth. The playoffs, followed by the semifinals and championship game finals, have left many people wondering. For example, many fans were misinformed by the lengthy daily updates before learning she was out. People were disappointed and even frustrated because they were hoping she would return in time for the playoffs. The Indiana Fever statement contains language that is very similar to what Stephanie White has been saying, including her most recent remarks from yesterday afternoon before Stephanie. White came out during a media scrum and explicitly stated what people were already implying was taking place behind the scenes. They wanted to make sure they had everything in order. When they are so evasive and imprecise in their questions, it raises suspicions. Better communication could have prevented the speculation that followed the ankle leak. And then they released that nonsense press release that stated, well, there's no way to know if the timeline was delayed because there is no timeline. Caitlin Clark experienced a number of setbacks, and the absence of clear updates caused confusion. They waited until 2 or 3 games remained in the season, and they told us for months that this girl is day to day. And ever since then, they've been so evasive and unclear in their questions, which makes people suspicious. It's awful. I think the Indiana Fever's handling of this problem is just disgusting. They told us she's day to day for months, even though they knew that wasn't the case. And they chose to keep collecting money from people hoping she would show up and play. For months, they have told us that this girl is day to day, but they knew that wasn't the case. They waited until there were 2 or 3 games left in the season. So there hasn't been any transparency for the fans, basically. Here is my theory. They never planned for Caitlin Clark to return this season, but they're telling us she's coming back even though Stephanie White informed us 2 days ago they were concerned about her long-term health. They keep promising us that she will return. But in reality, Stephanie White informed us 2 days ago that they are concerned about Caitlin Clark's long-term health at the moment. I'm telling you her basic, in other words, this is my theory. All of this is sneaky, strange, and not normal. Don't let anyone convince you that the way they're handling everything here is normal. They informed us 2 days ago that they're concerned about Kayla Clark's long-term health. Not at all. The lack of transparency indicates that something more serious is happening. Everything is suspicious. Everything is strange. Nothing is typical. Keep in mind that there are teams that are somewhat secretive about things, so don't let anyone tell you that the way they're handling anything here is normal. It's not at all. As a fan, I will continue to cheer on the team until the very end, whether it is ugly or good. To be honest, I feel bad for Caitlin because I know she wanted to be out there for the fans to put on a show. This setback will only make you stronger going forward. I feel awful for Caitlin because I know she wanted to be out there for the fans to put on a show. And I think she's unhappy about how the year ended. If the Fever are within a single digit of a playoff game, that's already a success. I think it will only make I know there will be a group of fans. And I think it's very legitimate for you if you feel like you were misled or that there's an extra team in the Vox that sell out every home game. But ultimately, I think we all kind of felt that this was going to be the outcome. These players would be quite foolish, in my opinion, if they believe that there is no way. The Fever do a great job of moving games, which is something they do well. They don't sell out away games. Those who believe that people still came to see Caitlin Clark, even if she was simply on the bench, would be extremely ignorant and extremely stupid if they were there. They wanted to make sure they had everything in order before now that Caitlin Clark has confirmed she is out for the season. What do we do next? Stephanie White confirmed during a media scrum that Caitlin Clark will not be returning this season, which is what people were already hinting at and assuming was going on behind the scenes. We have been misled and deceived enough this year. So, you need to look between the lines here, season. We must not permit the S people to keep lying to us. CAITLYN. Until then, Clark will return stronger. Remain with us. Remember to like for all updates, share, and subscribe.